said, the final countdown started just over 9 hours ago. And during that time, there were various major moments. The onboard computer was activated at L, if we say L is launch, L minus 4 hours and 40 minutes. The mobile gantry withdrew 3 hours and 15 minutes before launch. And the entire system was ready at minus 50 minutes. Now we're coming up to the next important milestone.
À tous de DDO, attention pour la séquence finale lanceur. Top I0 moins 4 minutes.
And the Range Operations Manager has announced the beginning of the synchronized sequence. This is the automated sequence. The computers are now controlling all the final checks in the countdown. They manage an impressive list of operations. And all of those systems across the base send information about their health status to these panels, which we can see on the right side of your screen. And we call them the status panels. They are showing us the status of 3 main systems: the rocket and pad, the range, and the satellite. The range is the name we give to the spaceport. The base here is about 750 kilometers. The range squared, and that also includes the tracking stations, which are downrange of the spaceport. Now we have a couple of control centers. Obviously we've been looking at mission control, which is in charge of the whole mission. This is the launch control center. These teams are in charge of everything to do with the launcher and the pad. And then we have a number of different teams working in here, but primarily one of them is responsible for the operations on the ground, coordinating with mission control for authorization to launch. And everything, if everything goes according to plan, they're the team who trigger the automated sequence, and then the other team is responsible for the flight readiness of the vehicle, overseeing all the operations from assembly of the launcher to the moment of launch. We have quality teams as well working alongside them, making sure that everybody is adhering to the strict set of procedures. And they're based in a blockhouse, protected blockhouse, which is about a couple of kilometers from this pad. So they're very close to the pad. They're watching over all this final phase of the synchronized sequence. We're 1 minute now and 37 seconds to launch. Here are all the VIP guests who you saw inside the Mission Control Center are now coming outside onto the terraces outside to go and watch the launch with their own eyes rather than watching it on the screens here.
À tous de DDO, attention pour moins 1 minute.
Coming up to the 1 minute mark.
Top I0 moins 1 minute.
And we're 1 minute to launch. Time to say our very best wishes to everybody who's worked so hard for today, to the PRISMA teams, the industrial consortia led by OHB Italia and Leonardo, the Italian Space Agency, the operational teams who are waiting to fly their satellite once it's separated, to CNES, ESA, Arianespace, and of course to all of you who are watching us on the internet. Good luck everybody for the launch.
À tous de DDO, attention pour le décompte final. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top. Allumage P80, décollage du V-14 PRISMA. Propulsion nominale. Propulsion nominale. Acquisition de la télémesure par la station de Saint-Jean. Pilotage calme, propulsion nominale.
And they are off. PRISMA has started its journey. Vega blazing a trail across the night sky here in the skies over the Arianespace Center. The Vega launcher takes its name from the brightest star in the galaxy of in the constellation of Lyra. Fifth brightest star in the night sky, and tonight she is lighting up our night sky. Heading north now over the Atlantic.
Séparation P80.
And we can see the separation there of the first stage.
Allumage Z23.
And he is telling us that the second stage is switching on, the Z23. This is what we're looking at now.
Propulsion Z23 nominal.
He's telling us that the propulsion of the engine is nominal. And there's the beginning of the dog leg maneuver. The dog leg maneuver is taking us out towards the north because we've been flying rather like an aeroplane. When it takes off, it has to go on a certain trajectory because it comes off the, I was about to say launch pad, but the runway, of course. And then depending on which direction it's going in, it turns and flies in that direction, and that's what the dog leg is. We have turned and we're flying towards the north, and he's telling us that everything is going normally. Top right-hand side of the screen is our trajectory. The cross is the actual position of the launcher. End of the dogleg maneuver, and all the parameters are normal, he says. And you could see just at the bottom of the screen there, we'll be seeing it again. There we go. Our altitude, 134 kilometers above our planet, on the bottom left of the screen. In the middle, our distance. That's the distance from the pad, if you were to draw a straight line, from the pad across the Earth to the position where the launcher is over.
Séparation Z23.
On the right, the speed, and now confirmation of the separation of the Z23 stage. Burnt its fuel, we don't need it anymore. There's a few seconds.
Z9.
Now we have a confirmation of the
Séparation de la coiffe.
Z9 is now switched on, and the engine, the fairing, has now been
nominal.
jettisoned. The propulsion, he says, is nominal. So we don't need the fairing anymore. It was protecting our satellite from the rigors of the launch. It was protecting us from friction. It was protecting us from the acoustic vibrations at liftoff. I'm sure you can imagine just how loud that is, or was. And so we are officially in space. This is what it looked like. We lifted off from the pad 4 minutes and 40 seconds ago. From the pad, you can see it there in the Guiana Space Center on the northeastern coast of South America. Galileo is the tracking station at the Guiana Space Center. Vega shot into the sky.
Fin de mission sauvegarde.
shot into the sky, and it was a beautiful launch. We managed to see it all the way until the separation of the first stage, so that we were very, very lucky. We've crossed the threshold. Crossed the threshold into space a little while ago. That was 100 kilometers above our Earth. We call it the Kármán line, the border with space. At that point, the atmosphere is so thin that it can no longer support vehicles with wings. So if we want to stay up once we're above the Kármán line, we have to use rocket science to do that. We're looking on the right-hand side of the screen at computer-generated images. The experts put a series of data and predictions into the computer, and this is a simulation of those predictions, so a simulation of exactly what's been planned for the flight. It's great because it means we can visualize it, we can see what it looks like up there.
Séparation Z9.
And we have separation of the Z9, Z for Zefiro, a kind of wind, an Italian wind, a little bit like the Sirocco or the Mistral. So, third stage has switched off its engine. The main propulsion phase of the flight is now over. And we are picking up the signal at the tracking station in Bermuda, an island in the Caribbean. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think the tracking station is actually on Cooper's Island, which is just to the east of Bermuda. In fact, the teams at the Bermuda tracking station have been a long-time space partner, dating back actually to the NASA days of the first manned space program. That was called Mercury, late 1950s and early 60s. And then, of course, as well with the Apollo lunar program in the 1960s. Our flight path takes us north, as Luz described earlier, heading up over the Caribbean, along the east coast of the US, east coast of Canada.
Fin d'acquisition d'un télémesure par la station de Galileo.
And the Galileo tracking station has now, we've now gone out of range of the Galileo tracking station. That's the one that was at the Arianespace Center.
Allumage AVUM.
And we've switched on the engine of the AVUM first stage, or AVUM as it's pronounced in French and maybe in Italian as well. So we've really started the next phase of our journey now.
Nominal.
Everything's going according to plan, he says. So AVUM has taken the wheel, and its job is to deliver our satellite to its required drop-off in space. It has to climb us up to 625 kilometers above the Earth to do that. You can see on the top right-hand side of our screen how we started off climbing quite steeply, and we're plateauing out now. Our altitude at the moment 253 kilometers, so we've still got another few hundred kilometers to go.
Propulsion nominale.
Today is Vega's 14th mission for Earth observation. Sorry, it's 14th mission in total, and 11 of those have been for Earth observation satellites. You can see our flight path there, heading, although we've gone into the range of the Bermuda tracking station, we haven't actually got to Bermuda yet. Yeah, so Earth observation involves using satellites in space to gather information about the physical, chemical and biological systems of our planet. And PRISMA is going to do a very important job. So let's find out more now about our satellite.